Hello, it is Monday night. That's better. It's Monday night. I'm in my kitchen. I'm making dinner. We're having meatloaf à poivre. I don't speak French, so I don't know how that's pronounced, but that's what we're doing. So I wanted to let you know where I'm at with reading. So I did end up reading, just kind of on a whim, the fifth book in the Suki Stackhouse series. 5th or 6th, one of them. Whatever one was next. Dead as a Doornail, and I really enjoyed it. It's my favorite one so far. I gave it 4 stars. I had a really good time. I've given all the other books in the series 3 stars, so the series is looking up for me. And it's interesting because it's like the one that has the least amount of romance in it. This is a paranormal romance series from the early 2000s about Suki Stackhouse, who is a telepath, and she lives in Louisiana. She's like a waitress, and in this world, vampires have just come out of the woodwork and said, hey, we're real. And sorry, I'm gonna stir this. But she works at a bar, and bars sell this thing called True Blood now. And so because of that, vampires just decided to say we're real. And then you also find out that there's all sorts of other like magical creatures happening. And Suki ends up dating a vampire named Bill. It sounds like that's like not super where the like series goes. I don't really know how it's gonna end up, but they, spoilers, I guess, have not been together in several books now. And she's got like a new vampire fling, and there's also like a shapeshifter fling thing happening. So I'm having a good time. But this series is mostly just fun. Every like book has an individual like mystery type thing happening. So like in one of them, they go to Dallas because there's a convention of vampires in Dallas, and she goes because she can read minds of people, and she's got to solve a mystery for that. This one, there's someone who's trying to assassinate people in the shifter community, so she's trying to figure out who's doing that. And it's just really fun. I'm having a good time with that series. I was kind of bored of it for a while, but I'm back. I'm enjoying it. Today, I started the audiobook of Whisper Man, and I'm actually halfway through because I usually listen to audiobooks while I like cook and stuff. So I'm like 40% through, but it's really good. It's by Alex North. And I read The Shadows by him a few years ago and really enjoyed it. And The Whisper Man was mentioned in that, so they happen in the same universe. And I want to say the detective, Amanda, is the detective in The Shadows. But don't quote me on that. She sounds familiar to me. I don't know why. But this book is about a dad and his son who they move because the mom has died. And so he wants to like give his son a fresh start. His son has an imaginary friend that's like freaking the dad out, kind of. And the dad also has some like traumatic stuff happening in his past. That hasn't been revealed yet, but I have a sneaking suspicion because something just was revealed. So I think I'm putting the pieces together, if you will. But we know that because he has nightmares about it. He had like an abusive father and stuff. And so his son is having a hard time adjusting at school. And also in this town, there's like a guy a long time ago who's been arrested and is like in prison called the Whisper Man. And he abducted and killed children. And there's copycat crimes starting to happen. So that's like what the story is. We partially follow detectives. We partially follow Jack and his son. I think those are all the perspectives. There's another perspective of someone. I think it's just someone we don't know who it is. I'm assuming it's the copycat murderer, but I don't know that for a fact. I don't know who it is. But that's what I'm reading right now. I thought I would let you know I have B-roll in this vlog, finally, for the first time in what feels like years, maybe is years. But we went to this place called Mill Street Records, and they have books there too, yesterday because they had a sale on records. So all the records that were under $10 were 50% off. So Matt wanted to go and look at 7 inches. And so I went and looked at books, and then while we were there, we found out there was like a Chapel Roan listen party. So that was fun. So I showed my like merch that I got. They gave you like a sticker sheet and a tiara. Cutie. And they also, I bought 2 books. I'm not gonna remember what they are now. I know I bought Frankenstein, and I bought a Ian McEwan book. I think that's right. And now I'm questioning myself. It's the author of Atonement. I don't really have any interest in reading Atonement because I've seen the movie and I know what happens. But I got Sweet Tooth, so I'll see if that's good. It's on my TBR, so I wanted to get it. But I just thought I would give you that quick update. We also watched the Chiefs game last night. They won. It was another really close game. We snuggled with the dogs. It was fun. Yeah, so we're just coming up on another week. Oh, the other Suki Stackhouse book that I read was not for any prompts, but The Whisper Man is for, there's a prompt in G's readathon to read a book, like the debut book by a favorite author. I enjoyed the other Alex North that I read, so I'm counting it for that because The Whisper Man is his debut. And then it counts for something. Oh, I think there's there's a prompt in Everbloom Academy, which is to read a book with a healing plotline. And the first sentence of the Goodreads page says something about like, the father is taking his son to a new town to help them with the process of healing. So I'm counting it for that. Also, in case you missed my last vlog, I did get bit by a dog. We're dog sitting right now from our friend who lives down the street from us, which is really fun because we just bought this house and he lives in our neighborhood, which is great. But I think I got the dog too excited when I was playing with him, and I was not expecting him to bite me as hard as he did. So it scared the shit out of me. But he was definitely like just having a good time. So anyways, but it's like a 70-pound Australian Shepherd, so just nod on me. But we're fine. There was one that, I mean, I've got like scratches right there, but then that's like the one tooth that like went in. Matt wanted to go get me stitches, but it would have been like one stitch if anything, but I don't even think it was deep enough for stitches, so I'm fine. It's gonna scar probably, but you know, live and learn. I have like a big, well, can you even see it? I do have a scar on my face. I can feel it. I know it's visible in real life. I don't know if it's visible on camera, but yeah. Anyways, I'm fine. Everything's fine. We're gonna paint our wall in our dining room. I can show you that. We've got all these color options, but we're just painting this wall, and I think we're going with this color because it's like dark enough, because that was sort of my like inspiration. It was actually a dark teal, but Matt doesn't like he thinks the teals are like too blue, which is totally fair, and he's more of a fan of the greens. And like this one he liked, but I think it's too muted for what I was thinking, so we're going with this one. It's called a Rainforest. Yeah. Anyways, those are all of my updates, but I will let you know when I have another update at some point. Obviously, yeah, we are still moving in, but it's happening, people. We need to buy a spice rack, so we don't have a cupboard, but I did build that yesterday. Oh, which I time-lapsed part of it, but then I was out of frame, so I stopped time-lapsing it because I got so like impatient, but that's what it looks like now. Sorry, I'm spinning in circles. That's it. And then this is what we had at the old house, but we're gonna just use it as an appliance shelf. So yeah, that's what we're doing. I want to put in a spice rack because we had one at the old house and that was really nice. But I think I'm gonna do the one that you can like push in and out of a cupboard, because we have one over here. Ignore our plastic bag full of plastic bags, but there's this cupboard that we're not using, and I think if I move, well, that's actually not detachable. I don't know. I was gonna figure out a way to like have one of those ones that pulls out, because Matt's parents have one and it's really nice. So that's the plan, but I'm gonna let you go and I will update you when I have another update. Hello, it's Wednesday. I have some updates. So I finished, what is it called? The Whisper Man by Alex North. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I thought this book was fine. It has pretty good reviews, but it seems like everybody that I know that read it gave it 4 stars, which means that they liked it slightly more than me. But yeah, I just thought it was fine. There wasn't anything like spectacular about it to me. And I feel like I remember the other Alex North book that I read being kind of similar, where like I enjoyed it, but like there's nothing that's like gonna stick in my brain really about it. And also like there wasn't like an amazing twist or anything like that. Like it was just well plotted and good and fine, but it's nothing that stands out for me personally. So not a bad rating at all. Like I think if you enjoy this type of thing, I think you would like it. I don't think you would regret reading it. It's just not, it's like very much I don't even know if it's a popcorn thriller. It was just fine. And then I also have read, since we last spoke, We Are Okay by Nina LaCour, which I'm reading, or which I read for There's a Prompt on, God, I'm not gonna remember what it is now. There's a prompt in Orilium that's to read a book that has the night sky on the cover, and this, you'll see the picture of the cover here, hopefully. It's got a girl like standing on a bed and there's like a night sky behind her. And this is about a girl named Marin. Marin. A girl named Marin, I think. Anyways, sorry. Now I'm questioning whether I'm right about that. And she is in college, and it's set basically over her winter break. She's the last student at her like dorm, and her old friend from high school flies across the country to see her in college, and she hasn't talked to this girl in like 4 months, and it's about like why she hasn't talked to this girl and like what's happened. It's really sad. It really focuses on like depression, anxiety, and like how that affects the brain. I liked the writing style a lot, but it was kind of a like nothing book for me. There were parts that I really enjoyed. There were parts that I just didn't really care that much about. So ultimately, I think I'm gonna give this one 3 stars as well. Again, not a bad rating at all. Just like nothing that's gonna stick out in the brain for me, which is kind of a bummer because I feel like this is one of those books that I've heard a lot of people really, really love. But yeah, for me, it was just fine. So those are the books that I've read recently. I'm still trying to read my way through Orilium Rising. I've made no further progress. I was on the phone with my mom last night until almost midnight. And we like, it was like a 3-hour phone call just talking about nothing, which was so fun, but that has meant that I've been exhausted all day today. So that's good for me. And then what else do we have going on? I think for dinner tonight, I'm gonna make ham sandwiches. So I'm making Matt actual ham on his sandwich, and I'm gonna do, I made this, what is it? Like a vegan ham type thing, but instead of using seitan, which is what I normally do when I do that, I made it with, a vegetable. So it's jicama. The recipe called for, rutabaga or celeriac, but my store didn't have either of those. So I Googled what good substitutes for them would be, and jicama was on both lists. So I hope it's good. I don't know, you like hotbox it first and then you roast it with like seasonings on it. And I will link the recipe that I'm attempting to follow below. It's a Derek Sarno recipe, and I hope it's good, but that's what I'm doing for dinner tonight. And other than that, I have no plans. So I will let you know if I have another update at some point. And until then, I will see you when I see you. Hello, it's Friday. If I look exhausted, it's because I am exhausted. Matt and I are about to watch Midnight Mass because we never watched it when it first came out. I don't remember why. And we got dinner, and we finished, for the most part, the last of our moving out stuff. We're gonna have to go back to the house again tomorrow and move out. But I'm also wearing my Happy Halloween sweatshirt that I got from my grandma after she passed away. What was I gonna say? Oh, I finished a couple things. I don't even know what the last thing I read was. This is a stupid update. I know that I read We Are Not Okay by Nina LaCour. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was fine. If I have not talked about it, hopefully editing me will come back and tell you more about it. But yeah, I thought it was okay. Then I read, did I talk about The Whisper Man? I read The Whisper Man. I also gave it 3 stars. I thought it was fine. I think I did talk about that. And I think I also talked about the Nina LaCour book. What else have I read since then? I've read a couple things. Oh, I read The 100 Years of Linnea Margot, which is this book about a teenage girl who is in a like terminal ward because she has cancer and she's dying, and she meets an old lady in her hospital who is 83, and I think she's like about to be 17. And so together they've lived 100 years, and so they start telling each other stories, and drawing paintings, or like making paintings of their stories. And this one was really, really good. I gave it 5 stars. I feel like I'm not doing a good job of explaining why, but I loved it. I really loved the different storytelling. I liked the different like back and forth of learning snippets of both of their lives, and like both of them had things that they wanted to not withhold, but like things that they weren't proud of that they like over time told. And there's like a really sweet like romance element with the older woman telling the stories of like her various loves. And one of them really upset me. I'm gonna cry thinking about it, but she had a husband who ended up getting Alzheimer's, and like the way that all played out was so sad. So I read that, and I read that for the prompt of, in Orilium, there's a prompt for reading a book with a night sky on the cover, I think. And I think that's what I read that for. And then there's another prompt that's read a book with a number in the title, and that's what I was originally going to read that for, but I've decided to pick up 100 Things We Lost at the Internet, which is a nonfiction essay collection. It's fine. It's basically listing out 100 things that we don't have to do anymore. One of them is like home telephones, which is fun because like I grew up with a home phone, so I had like all of my friends' phone numbers memorized, and there were certain times you weren't allowed to call, and like the listening on the other end and 3-way calls and stuff. So that's been fun. I'm probably gonna give it 3 stars because it's fine. Like there's nothing groundbreaking about it, but it is like fun. It's not quite as funny as I was expecting it to be, but that's that. I'm still slowly making my way through Rune Rising. I really want to finish that because I'm sick of reading it. I'm really liking it, but it's just like, I'm just not wanting to read things with my eyes, you guys. So I've been reading it in bed, but then by the time I get in bed, I'm so tired that I like am not actually like reading for a long time, if that makes sense. So anyways, last night I went to KCMBA, which is like the local to me bar association, and I saw one of my old coworkers there, so it was really great to catch up with him, and I met a couple cool people. Oh, it's time to go. I will update you more later. Good morning, it's Saturday. I'm looking particularly rough this morning, but it is what it is. I also was wearing the shirt earlier in the vlog, but trust me, it is a different day, and I have watched the shirt since then. But I wanted to come on here because I was reviewing the footage to see what I'd already talked about, so that I don't have to keep making duplicative updates. I did notice that I left something out. So I tried to read this book called Agent Running in the Field by John le Carre, I don't know. And it's about this guy who used to be a spy, and he basically gets one last assignment. I don't really like spy books. I also didn't particularly care for the way this book was written. And then it started mentioning, like, he's a British spy, but he was talking about his spy organization's communications with Donald Trump as president. And that's when I was like, no, thank you. I don't want to read this. If it's going to involve real world politics, I don't want to read it. I talked about this when I read, what was it? Somebody Likes to Win. Joe Walsh Likes to Win. Is that what it was called? No. Joe Walsh is a... I don't know. That book. I talked about how I don't love politics in books, but like, I really can't do the name dropping thing. It's just, for me, it just makes it completely unenjoyable. So as soon as that happened, pretty much, I was like 8% in to the audiobook and I just DNF'd it. So that's unfortunate. I also said that I was going to read 2 books for the same prompt, and I haven't reviewed my spreadsheet to see if I just forgot to put one of them and I'm duplicating something. But I don't know what I'm going to do about that. And the other thing I wanted to mention, these are just housekeeping items. The other thing I wanted to mention is Rune Rising has a phoenix on the cover. And there is a prompt for Orilium that's to read a book with a phoenix in the title or on the cover. And so I'm counting Rune Rising for that prompt now, which I don't know how I did not realize that it had a phoenix on the cover. I think it wasn't until at one point they mentioned the phoenix in the book that I was like, holy shit, I bet that's what that is. So anyways, Matt and I have to finish our final move out stuff at the old house today. So he's out right now. But then when he gets back, we have to unload the truck from all the stuff that we put in it yesterday. By the truck, I mean my car. Because we've got a shit ton of stuff in there. And then we're going to go back to the house. We've got like a hammock stand, a bike, a broom, a couple other things that are still at that house. We have just so much stuff, you guys. So we stuffed my car completely full, but unfortunately we've got more. So I'm going to get ready here in a second so that we can go do that. And then I will let you know if I have any other updates. I'm hoping to finish 100 Things We've Lost to the Internet today. This vlog will go to Monday because Monday's the last day of the month. And that way I can just like round it out really quick. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm drinking my coffee. I'm going to go get ready. And then I'm going to go on an adventure. My skin is looking so terrible right now and I'm really not sure why, but it is what it is. You know what they say. Also, look at this bruise, dude. I feel like it's much more apparent on camera than it is in person. That's crazy. In person, it kind of just looks like a normal skin tone, but for some reason on camera, you can like see the defined outline of the like green. So anyways, our neighbor came back, and he feels really bad, but it's really not a big deal. It's just, I don't know, more like funny at this point than anything. But anyways, Marvel's on high alert right now. Maybe Murphy. Okay, goodbye.
I'm starting a new life.
Good morning. I have you situated in kind of an awkward position, but it is Sunday, and I am almost finished with A Slow Fire Burning by Paula Hawkins, which I think I've talked about starting, but I could be wrong. It's a mystery thriller, and I'll be honest, I'm having a hard time connecting all the dots. I don't know if it's just like the style of the way it's written. Everything is sort of coming in chunks out of order, and I'm not sure how all of it relates to the other storylines yet. But basically at the beginning of the book, a body is found in a houseboat, and they arrest a woman who was with him when, like, around the time that the police believe he died, but they can't get anything to stick and they can't find the murder weapon. And then we find out that the guy's name is Daniel. His mother, Angela, fell down her stairs and broke her neck like 2 months before this happened. So she has just died. And then Angela has a sister named Carla, and Carla has an ex-husband named Theo, and they had a child together who died when he was like very young. And so you go into that storyline. Also, there's a woman named Miriam who lives in the boat next door to Daniel, and we're following her storyline a little bit, and she has beef with Theo. Okay. And then, and it's over a book that she's claiming, Theo's an author, she's claiming Theo stole her memoir and published it as a work of fiction. All right. Still don't really know where that's going from, but there's also chapters from either Theo's book or her memoir that are interspersed in this story, and it took me a long time to figure out that's what it was. Kind of confusing, but it's okay, because I couldn't figure out how that related to the rest of it. I'm sure it will. I just don't know how it does right now. And then there's also a woman named Irene, and Irene used to live next door, or lives next door to Angela, the guy who died at the beginning's mom, who died 2 months ago. So she was next door neighbors with Irene, and the woman who's arrested for Daniel's murder is like a young woman in her 20s who goes to Irene to help Irene with stuff. And that girl, I think her name's Laura. I feel bad that I don't remember. She's like probably the main character, but I can't remember her name. But she has like a lot of emotional problems, it seems. And she was in an accident when she was a kid that left her with like, she was in a coma for a while. She had to relearn how to like eat and talk and walk and stuff when she was like in her early teens. She got hit by a car. And so she's got a lot of trauma built up from that. But those, I believe, are all the players. But because Angela lived next door to Irene, Carla, who is Irene's sister, and the aunt of Daniel, keeps coming around, and like she sees Laura there, but nobody knows that Laura has been arrested for this thing, or like is suspected of doing this crime. And she's not telling anybody because everyone in her life apparently knows this guy. And then Laura ends up meeting Miriam later, just kind of like randomly. I don't know. So it's like all these characters' lives are intertwining. But again, I'm really not sure. I have a sneaking suspicion on who committed the murder, but I could be wrong. Like, I have a guess. Editing Mary here, and I'm just popping in to say I was right about who committed the murder. I don't know if I ever say that later, but I knew. That I've had for a while. But I don't know exactly who it's gonna be. And I think I've identified the red herring. I'm trying not to spoil it. But again, I'm just not really sure how everything connects, if that makes sense. But, you know, it's good so far. I really honestly think I'll probably end up giving it 3 stars. I feel like I'm such a 3-star person this week, just because like, while I'm enjoying it, it took me like almost 50% to understand who everybody even was, because I kept getting people, like Miriam and Irene, I kept getting confused. They're not the same age. Irene is like 80 and Miriam is probably like in her 50s, but like in my brain, I could not separate them. And it was really confusing me because they're both neighbors to one of the victims. Do you know what I mean? Okay. But I'm reading that. I've not made any further progress from Ruin and Rising, but I'm really hoping that I can read that today. Right now I'm making us like breakfast sandwiches of sorts because I mean, it's like noon, but I just wanted to cook something, and I made my grocery list. I'm probably gonna go to the grocery store today, and then I'm gonna go to my friend's 40th birthday party today, so that'll be really fun. We're gonna watch the Chiefs game for that. She actually had a surprise party on Friday, which I wasn't told about until Thursday, and we had to do our last move this week, so I couldn't go, which I feel kind of bad about, but also like, it is what it is. I'll see her today, and I'm excited for that. What else am I doing? I think, so A Slow Fire Burning, I'm reading it for a prompt in Everbloom Academy, and I want to say it's the last book I have to read besides Ruin and Rising for that readathon, but I will double check. I can double check right now. Hold on, I'll double check. Okay, so I have my list in front of me of all the things that I was going to read, and I will let you know what I have read. So for Arcane Ethics, a book that teaches a lesson or has good versus evil, I read The End of Policing by Alex S. Vitale. For Geography, a book with a map, I'm reading Ruin and Rising still. For History of Magic, a book featuring magic, I read I Am the Ghost in Your House by Mara Ramasco Moore. For Ancient Languages, a translated book, I read Anna Karenina. For Magibotany, a book that features plants. I read The Poppy War. Musicraft, a book that features music. I was going to read Music for Wartime, which is a short story collection, and I own it. I don't know if it's still packed up or if I've pulled it out of a box yet. I may read that. I may not. We'll just see if I get to it before Monday. And then for unicorn and dragon writing, a book that features dragons, I read Burn by Patrick Ness. For basic elements, I'm reading A Slow Fire Burning. For Healing 101, I read The Whisper Man. Also the Department of Half-Truths. I was going to try to read Hellbent because at the time that I made this TBR, I thought I would be finished reading Ninth House. I have not even started reading Ninth House, so that's a dud. Sorry about that. I don't know why I'm like putting it off, but it is a book that I think I'll really like, so it's kind of driving me crazy. But anyways, Department of Magical Studies, a book featuring nature or talking animals. I read Dead to the World by Shirley Harris. And then for Department of Supernatural Investigations, I tried to read Agent Running in a Field because the prompt is to read a book with a thief or a spy, and that's a spy thriller, and not for me. I don't like spy books, so I DNF'd that promptly, and I will not be reading it. But also, I have B-roll in here because yesterday we went to Goodwill. We're looking for a coffee table / a bedside table for me, not / like different things, but we don't have a coffee table because I mentioned our coffee table was falling apart, so we just threw it away instead of moving it again. Or like we put it out on the curb or whatever. We got it for free when someone else left it when they moved out when we moved into our first apartment. So it lasted us like 6 years. So not bad, but it just isn't like worth keeping at this point. So we want to get a new coffee table. Also, we need a bigger coffee table, I think, because this room is bigger, but I don't know if we're gonna keep the couches on the wall. So this is a tangent. We went to Goodwill, I looked at the books and I saw Agent Running in a Field. I've never seen that book anywhere before, so I just thought it was so funny that I saw it immediately after I DNF'd it, and I'm glad that I DNF'd it before I saw it. Sorry, there's a bird out the window that I'm staring at. He's looking right at me. That was crazy. Anyways, I'm glad that I read it via audio and DNF'd it before buying it, because can you imagine if I bought that book and read like 10 pages and then was like, no. I probably wouldn't have bought it anyways, just because I didn't. That was one of those books that I was like, I don't know why this has been on my TBR so long. I don't know why I even put it on my TBR. I don't think I'm gonna like it, and I didn't, so there you have it. So that is where I'm at with this readathon. I read almost all the prompts, which I'm pretty proud of. And then for Orilium, I read a prompt for the first prompt in Alchemy, which was a book that will make you emotional. I read Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. It did not make me emotional, but I thought it would. For Animal Studies, I'm reading the first prompt, which is Phoenix keeping a phoenix on the cover or in the title, because Runum Rising has a phoenix on the cover. Still trying to get through that. I haven't read any of The Art of Illusions, but for astronomy, I read a book released in my birth month for the Constellation Cradle prompt, and I read The End of Policing because it was released in October and I was born in October. Conjuration, nothing. Demonology, nothing. Elemental Studies. For Gust of Longing, I counted The Quiet American by Graham Greene. I don't know if I even talked about this. Because I like the way graham crackers smell. Cheating? Yes, but it is what it is. Spells and Incantations, nothing. I was going to read Hellbent for the first one, but didn't get to it. That's fine. For Artificery, Birthstone Properties, I read Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitano because my birthstone is an opal and I feel like it looks ish like that. Okay. Helping Hands for a non-human protagonist, I read Burn by Patrick Ness. For Arithmancy, a number in the title, I read 100 Things We Lost to the Internet. Did I finish telling you about that? I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. It was the essay collection that I just finished. Inscription, The Art of Decipher. A title has all the letters of your first name. I read I Am the Ghost in Your House by Mara Escamore. I could have just read Mary, An Awakening of Terror by Nat Cassidy because my name is Mary and that is the title, but I read that after this, so that's fine. For ink pigmentation, The Color Wheel, I spun the wheel and got amber, and then I read Fix Her Up because the ladder on the cover is like an amber yellow. I cheated, but it is what it is. For lore, Literary History, I read Dead to the World by Shirley Harris. For regional interpretations, I read Anna Karenina because that's the Rita translated book. And then for a retelling, Tale of a Desert Creeper, that's what I did this for. I read Mary because I thought it was a retelling of Carrie, and it turns out not really, but that's fine. For Psionics and Divination, for Rewind Time, the favorite author's debut book, I read Whisper Man because it is a debut. And I liked the other book that I read by Alex North. I honestly don't think he's an author for me though, based on this experience, because I think I've given both of his books 3 stars. I honestly probably gave the other one 4 stars, but I don't remember really anything about it except for the twist. And the twist is kind of weird. That's the only reason I remember it. So anyways, probably not an author for me, but that's fine. Significance of Reoccurrence the same letter appears 4 or more times in the title. I read The 100 Years of Lenny and Margot because I believe E happens a lot. The 100 years. Yeah, so at least 4 times. Great. Anyways, okay, and then for restoration, for Night Dew, a book with a night sky on the cover, I read We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. For Dangerous Plants, I was gonna read Poppy War for this, but I read it actually before I read the Nina LaCour book. I'm still gonna count it because, so that's how I feel about that. But anyways, and then for Quick Action in Crisis, the title has a verb. I guess I can change this to a slow fire burning because that's burning is a verb, but I had agent running in the field for that one. I didn't do any of the shape-shifting prompts because I couldn't figure out what book had jewelry on the cover and I didn't feel like really going out of my way to do that. So I did really good on both of these readathons. Again, I did the Orilium Readathon wrong. I know that. I didn't like have a class schedule that I was following. I'm basically not doing any of the prompts the right way, but it was fun. It made me read a lot. I was very excited to do that. Next month, I'm hoping to do Spookathon and roll as I go. I'm saying this like I'm closing out the vlog. I'm not. This is a good time to catch up. I will continue vlogging whatever I read next because I will finish A Slow Fire Burning and let you know how I feel about it. And then I might read the Music for Wartime book or what was the other one? Oh, Department of Half-Truths. Probably I won't be reading that. But maybe because I want to reread Ninth House Physically, so I probably won't be doing that for this. Anyways, so maybe I'll find another book that is dark academia or has a word like secret or cheat in the title, and we'll see how I do about that. But I have a bunch of things, like a bunch of holds from my library have come in recently, so I'll probably just vibe for the rest of the month. I'm saying the rest of the month as if there's a ton of time. There's today and tomorrow, so it's possible that I will only finish this Paul Hawkins book and that'll be it. But just wanted to update you here, and I will hopefully remember to close this out tomorrow because I think this is going to be the video that goes up this week. So shout out. Lava found a patch of sun. Is that a good spot for you, Bubba? Hi. So it's actually Tuesday, and I'm going to wrap up this vlog really quick because I did finish Ruin and Rising last night. So I'm very excited. I don't know what I'm rating it yet. I did enjoy it. I had the thing again happen where the ebook is like 450 pages long, but the actual book ends at like page 370. So there's just a lot of like extra stuff in there, which means that I wasn't pushing for an end. Because sometimes when I get really close to the end of a book, I'll just push through. I wasn't sure that I was there. And then I checked last night because I was like, I really want to finish it tonight, but I've got so many pages left. And I checked and I was like, oh, there's only actually 2 chapters in the after. So I did that. I did enjoy it. I'm gonna sit. I did enjoy it. I don't know what I'm rating it yet, but I will let you know in my wrap up. Hopefully I'll have decided by then. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you would like to, you can subscribe to my channel. I am doing the Roll As You Go Bookopoly this year, Spookopoly for October. So I will be posting weekly vlogs with my progress in that. If you would like to watch my videos on that, you can subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!